Facebook people. There we go. All right. Hi, Facebook. So I asked Instagram how everybody's week's been going. So Facebook people, how have your weeks been going? That's like a real question. Like obviously I can't hear you, but I want you to think about it for yourselves. This week we are going to be talking about gratitude. Excuse me, I'm missing all of my intro. Welcome to the TRIBEvibe guided meditation series. This week we will be talking about gratitude. And gratitude could be a whole bunch of different stuff. So we'll narrow it in, but always as usual, the first day I give you guys an example of from my own life or from somebody else's life that's really pertinent, but I try to keep it from my own perspective. That way I can really talk on it. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about some things that I have gone through, not going through really, more sometimes that I was able to recognize that I was really grateful and to practice some gratitude in my life. So let me click share. So you do the same. Go and click share. I don't know if you guys have found your accountability partners yet. Every week I'm like, where your accountability partner at? So if you have, tag them to make sure that they're here. Cause it's not accountability partner if you don't, call them out on their stuff. So say, hey, where you at? And then also, think about a time, I want you to start marinating on a time that you have been able to practice some gratitude. So let me see if this is going to cooperate with me today. It did. All right. Got it done. Okay. So, I just wanted to share something with you guys about my life in regards to gratitude. I personally, the biggest and easiest thing to think about would be like, saying like your family or, my daughter or something like that. But I wanted to try to give you guys a little bit of something that's not on the beaten path, right? The example that's a little bit off kilter. So maybe you can challenge yourself to think about some things that aren't just like as easily, accessible in your memory banks. Think about something a little deeper. So I think I told you guys on one of these sessions when we were talking how I kind of accidentally started my business, and I definitely talked to you guys a couple weeks ago about like my journey through college and all that stuff and how crazy that was for me. And so like after I got through all that, then I was already working for a hospital. I'd been there for like 5 years, and I accidentally started the business just like on some kicks and giggles talking to a coworker. And ended up doing that and just absolutely fell in love with it. And as I jumped off the cliff, because I really did jump off the cliff. Like I told you guys, I called nursing school. I called my job. Like I was done with everything. Nursing school, I called them like the Monday. This happened like a Friday evening or something. I called them Monday and was like, I'm not coming back. And I told my job, y'all got 2 weeks and I won't be back. And I did all that like that quick. So I jumped off the cliff, and after I did that, I kind of had to rework everything afterwards. I didn't do what most people do, is like kind of figure out what their motivation is and exactly what they want to do with the business and all that stuff. Like it was all a work in progress for me. Like I had to figure that out on the fly. And so like as I've challenged myself throughout the years, we opened in 2017. So as I've challenged myself throughout the years, I think I have really gotten a solid understanding of why I will never go back to a 9-to-5, and if I end up at a 9-to-5, it'll just be temporary. But why I will never go back to that position is because I really appreciate and value the freedom and the ability to exercise so many different parts of myself in the way that I see fit. Like I don't have to have anybody else there telling me, oh, you can't do that, or if you're going to do it, that you need to do it in this way, or I'm only going to pay you this much money for this or that, or kind of speaking on the value of what I'm bringing to the table, right? I get to make those determinations for myself, and I get to show up in the way that I feel speaks most to who I am. Like all the deep down good juicy stuff, I get to put that on the table in the way I want to and show up in my true self, right? And so when I was thinking on today, I was like, you know what? I want to share with them that is something that that I practice gratitude, and that I make sure that I am constantly reminding myself of, because it is a big thing for me. it may not be as big of a deal for other people to be able to show up in that way, but for me, it really, really, really speaks to the core of who I am to be able to show up that way. I really feel stifled when I am not able to kind of exercise. I'm like an octopus a little bit with like all of the different arms of things that I like to do, but I really feel stifled. And I found for myself, even when I was trying to figure out what I was doing with the business, I was making decisions, right, based on kind of what I had known, which was school, which was, you know, when you're a child living with your parents, which was working a 9 to 5. And then I was making my decisions in my business based on my reference points of those things. And at some point I just realized you don't have to do that. Like that's part of the and this is not a PSA for anybody to be an entrepreneur, because this ain't to talk about the difficult parts. This is to talk about me being, exercising gratitude about the good things for me, right? But that's one of the main things for me being an entrepreneur, is being able to do what I want to and make my own rules. And so I'm like, subconsciously, I didn't even realize that I was doing those things. And then when I realized then I realized like, I need to make sure that I'm exercising my gratitude in that space, because it is major for me. And I am so grateful that I am able to do that for myself. Like, I'm grateful that I don't have to feel stifled, that I have made a way in a space, that I have cleared a space for myself to not, to be able to be free and not feel stifled. So that's just kind of like, you know, one of the things that I practice with, one of the examples of things that I practice gratitude with in my life. And I just wanted to give you guys that example because it's not, you know, as like straightforward. Like, I could have got on here and been like, I'm so grateful for my daughter, which, you know, I am. But I mean, I wanted you to think a little bit beyond that. Y'all know I love to reference the episode. So the Netflix episode today is about gratitude. But Andy was talking about an example from his life, and when he was talking to somebody else and he did this meditation technique with them, and he asked them, well, he didn't ask them, the person offered to share, and they said that they were grateful for, they were practicing gratitude in the way of focusing on making coffee in the morning. And Andy was like, okay, but then he was like, as he explained it, he was like, if there's a whole ritual that the person goes through, and, you know, it's just like a whole like sense of calm and peace and centeredness that comes with them making coffee every morning. And sometimes it's something as simple as that, or as small as that, and you may not be recognizing it. You know, even, I'll give y'all another example. I told y'all this a while ago in a couple of episodes. I would not stop humming every time we got on here. And I was like, I'm not meaning to be on here humming. I love to sing. I love to sing. I'm not singing in front of nobody else, generally speaking, unless you my real close folks. But I love to sing. And so like, even getting in the shower and turning on the music. And I have my self-care shower days where I'm in there way too long. I'm eco-friendly, so I turn off the water, but I'm in there way too long, just, you know, living my best life. Don't mind what I'm doing, but I'm just in there living my best life, okay? But I love to turn on the radio, not the radio, but like Spotify or something like that, and listen to like my playlist and just sing along, and like being in the car and turning the music up and singing along to your favorite whoever's song. That's something I'm also grateful for, because when it is absent in my life, I really can feel it. And I said that, I think when the Rona first happened, I think I was talking to somebody, I can't remember exactly who it was, but we were talking about stuff, and I was just like, so many of the things that I practiced that I did not realize I was practicing all the time were feeding into my self-care, right? Like, and so I was realizing that the lack of those things, it was a big void. Like, just the lack of some of the daily things that I had, you know, put into my routine that were self-care that I was grateful for. It allowed me to understand, like, you know what, those are specific things that you need to have gratitude for. And another kind of off the beaten path one for me is learning. Y'all know I'm on here teaching everybody because I love to learn. And so now that has morphed into me teaching people stuff, or at least sharing my knowledge and my understanding, my perspective and stuff. So yeah, you know, so I want you to think about some of the examples I gave and try to get yourself some that are a little bit off the beaten path. Don't just go with the most obvious thing. Really, really think about it, because once you realize those things, then you can implement them more, or those are things you can go to when you're having a challenging time. I know we talked about a couple weeks ago about when things are stressful and trying to find and highlight, I hate to say the silver lining because it's so cliche, but finding some joy in the situation. And if you know for facts that making that morning cup of coffee is something that brings you back to your center, it's something that makes you happy, it's something that brings you just even a little minuscule piece of joy, being able to being cognizant of focusing on doing that task, right? Because you could just breeze through it and not recognize that that's something that actually brings that joy to your space. I could, because I'm not driving anywhere like I used to. I used to always be out driving, because for a while there I was, cooking the good foods for the folks. And I had some people last week mad at me again because they was like, girl, where the food at? And you're posting pictures and I don't understand. But when I was delivering food and stuff like that, or even just going to get supplies and things of that nature, or just going out in general, things that I do not do anymore, I'm not in the car. I'm not listening to my music. Like when I'm sitting at home, I'm generally not just like, let me turn on some music unless I'm cleaning. Y'all know, again, in the chat, y'all know we like to have our cultural moments. In the chat, let us know. If I know Black people, on Sundays is our cleaning day. You got to kick on that good music, whatever your music is. I know our parents used to have us listening to the old school music when we was cleaning. And I know now y'all the parents, so your music may be old school for your babies, but put in a chat if other cultures do that, because y'all know we Sunday cleaning with the music on. That's Black folks to the T. But outside of cleaning, or when I'm having my self-care shower days, I don't just turn on the music. And so I had to make a point of making sure I turn on the music, because when it's not there, there's a void. So that's it. Today's a short day. That's it. Okay? I ain't had no long-winded example for y'all. I ain't had no crazy story for y'all today. So we gonna conclude the beginning portion of it there. All right. Some days I keep y'all on here all day. Some days not so much. But anyway, so you guys ready to do some meditation? So all I want you to do, our housekeeping for meditation, is to find you a comfortable spot, sitting or laying down. I just want your spine straight and your neck straight. Try to limit your distractions. If you can't limit them, it's okay. If we're in the middle of the exercise and you get distracted, say, hey, distraction, acknowledge it, and then come back to the exercise. That's it. You can't do it wrong. I always forget to say that every time we on here. I forget to say you cannot do it wrong. So I want to make sure that I remember I can't do it wrong, but I cannot say that. I want to always remember to tell you guys that you cannot do it wrong, because you're here and that's the only thing you needed to do. So you're already here. So, all right. Are we ready? Everybody comfortable? Everybody get in their best chair or in their best bed? All right, let's get it going. So we're going to turn on Netflix. You know what? I'm going to start doing this. We're turning on Netflix, Headspace Guide to Meditation, because I swear every time I can't never get the order of the words right. Headspace Guide to Meditation on Netflix. We're going to turn that on. Listen to Andy. Everybody ready?
A few reminders
Here we go.
to help you to get the best out of the exercise. Remember, it's natural for the mind to wander. So just allow thoughts to come and go. Remember, it doesn't need a lot of effort. This is the one time in a day when you can truly let go and just allow the body and mind to unwind. And finally, with this specific technique, it doesn't matter what arises when you ask the question. Try to avoid the temptation to think about it, to judge it or analyze it. Just allow it to have its own time, its own moment. And don't worry if it doesn't even lead to a feeling of appreciation. Like all meditation exercises, it takes a little bit of time and a little bit of practice sometimes. But right now, all you need to do is to begin with your eyes open. A nice soft focus, just aware of the space around you. And just maintaining that soft focus with the eyes, just taking a couple of big deep breaths, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. So as you breathe in through the nose, just a sense of the lungs expanding, the body filling with air. As you breathe out, just noticing how the muscles in the body begin to soften as you exhale. And just one more time, breathing in through the nose. And as you breathe out this time, just gently closing the eyes if you'd like to, and just allowing the breath to return to its natural rhythm. And just take a moment before you do anything else, just to appreciate that feeling of having stopped, of having nowhere to go, nothing to do. Feeling the weight of the body pressing down into the seat or the floor below you. Perhaps noticing any sounds around you. And rather than resisting them, just allowing the sounds, the thoughts to come and go. And just use this opportunity as well, just to notice how the body feels. Or whether the body feels heavy or light. And whether there's a sense of stillness or restlessness in the body right now. And as you begin to notice those different feelings, sensations in the body, just starting to notice the movement of the breath, a rising and falling sensation. As always, begin in a very general way, just noticing where in the body you feel that movement. Whether it's in the chest, diaphragm, the stomach. Doesn't matter where you feel it. Don't need to breathe in any special way. But if you can't feel that movement at all, just gently placing your hand on your stomach. And we're just going to stay with that rising and falling sensation, just as the body and mind begin to settle. So remember, natural for the mind to wander. Just noticing the wandering and gently coming back to the breath. And you can use your breath throughout today's exercise as that place to come back to if the mind wanders off. Now, in having settled the mind a little, we're going to ask that question. Who or what do you appreciate most in your life right now? So ask yourself that question in the exact same way as though you're asking somebody else. And just notice what comes to the surface. Without any expectation, without any judgment, without any hurry, just allowing that feeling to emerge. Now, if no particular feeling comes up, that's fine. It's natural. Sometimes it takes a little bit of practice. If there's an obvious feeling, just allowing that feeling to remain. Just resting in that feeling of gratitude. If there was no clear feeling, just gently asking that same question again. And just creating that space. Again, we're not thinking about what comes to mind. We're not judging it, analyzing it. We're just creating the space. And then if there is a feeling, just allowing ourselves to stay with that feeling of appreciation. And then allowing that feeling to remain. Just beginning to bring the attention back into the body, back to that feeling of weight and contact. Back to any sounds around you. And whenever you feel ready, you can just gently open the eyes. Take a moment, notice how you feel in the body and in the mind. Know that...
Okay, we're going to pause it. How's everybody feel? Were you able to come up with something? If not, it's okay, because we'll be doing it again tomorrow and Thursday. And you got plenty of time to think of something. And if not, it's okay, because, we always talk about it's a work in progress. And so, like I said, you can't do anything wrong. The only thing you needed to do was to show up, and you did that. So, you did everything I could ask for. So, all right, my loves, tomorrow we're going to be diving a little deeper into gratitude and, like, what is gratitude and, just different stuff, whatever interesting tidbits I can find on the gratitude that's not already in my brain. I like to find those little nuggets and tell y'all about them. So we'll see. We'll see if I find a good nugget. If I find a good nugget, I'm going to let you know. But anyway, I haven't said it today, so we're going to say it. Don't forget to tell your mama, daddy, brother, sister, cousin, auntie, uncle, and them to come on and join, because we want to reach one, teach one. Y'all reach one, and I'll teach one. And then also, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. If you haven't already shared, click the share button for me. Tag somebody who needs to hear it. We're talking about gratitude, and gratitude is a big part of gratitude is a big part of being happy. It's a big part of happiness. So we're going to dive a little deeper into happiness and actually actively practicing being happy on another day. That was too much for me this week. I have a lot going on. So I was like, we're going to take a piece of it and we're going to talk about a piece of it. So that's what we're doing this week. So another week we'll get all the way into the happiness bag. But gratitude is a big part of being happy. So if you know somebody who's chronically or constantly struggling with just being able to maintain their happy. Like them people we talked about a couple weeks ago that listened to For Real I'm Happy song and found a way to be upset. I don't know how they did that. I'm not really sure. Like I said, y'all probably need to go see somebody who got more degrees than I got. And I'm not judging y'all, but I don't know how you could be upset about that song. But anyway, I digress. But anyway, we will be talking more about gratitude tomorrow. So, as always, my loves, Have a good rest of your evening. I will see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock p.m. If you can't catch us live, catch us on the playback on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. I did not do the Spotify this weekend, and I said I was going to do it. And I said y'all was my accountability partners. Okay, I'm going to give myself a new goal of, I'm going to say by the end of this week. I don't think it's going to happen. I really think it's going to be by the end of next week. So y'all give me some grace, okay, on my time frame. Instagram pause and everything is my Wi-Fi is not cooperating with me today. But anyway, so I will see you guys tomorrow. As always, have a good evening, and I love you. Self-love is best love. All right, bye. Have a good night.